We all love Goosebumps for a multitude of reasons. Maybe it's nostalgia, because you were a 90s kid. Or maybe you just like Goosebumps because you like scary stories with a little bit of funniness, like me. Or maybe you like Goosebumps because of the art, or all three. But today we're talking about the art, so the third option. Specifically, the art of Goosebumps. Done by Tim Jacobus. For the most part, he did like almost 100 covers, I think. At least covers. Tim Jacobus is the main artist back in the 90s for Goosebumps. Now it's kind of Brandon Dorman and Robert Ball. And there is actually a book that is official featuring his art and kind of giving some info about how it was made and just about the book itself. And yeah, I thought we should just maybe review it because I'm going to review every Goosebumps book in some capacity. We'll talk about the collector's caps at some point. We'll talk about the autobiographies and stuff. So let's get this one done. And before I even jump into the review, let me just say I know there's some weird controversy involving this book, and we'll probably talk about it eventually, but we're just going to keep the controversy aside for this review. It's not going to affect my score at all. We're just going to ignore that. We're just reviewing the book. I don't really care to talk about the controversy in this book review, because I don't really know much about it. So yeah. Please know, I'm not gonna, whatever score I give this, it's probably gonna be a more positive one. Not because I agree with the controversy or anything, it's just like a decent book. So yeah, let's get to the review. And now for the vibe blurb, as if we need that. Anyways, beware. What lies before you is the ultimate collection of terrifyingly iconic art from R.L. Stine's spooktacular Goosebumps series. The classic series of books that captured the imagination and fear of children was graced with covers by several artists, but none as prolifically as Tim Jacobus. In this book, you will find secrets to Jacobus' eye-grabbing art, and the stories behind Stine's twisted tales. Behold the beauty and horror that has been scaring and delighting readers since 1992. Yeah. This is just a facts book, I guess, with some cool art. And that's just basically all you need to know. It's the Art of Goosebumps book. Yeah, let's get into my upsides. My upsides are basically everything about this book, besides controversy. Let's just talk about this gang art. We got this exclusive art piece for this book that Jacobus made. We also have art from the vinyl, and got the art still of Curly that was made for, products and stuff back in the day. There's a big history lesson page talking about art and shit. Another one. And multiple. There's a bunch. And then it's split up into 4 quadrants, I believe, where it talks about the OG series, which is split into 2 places. And then it talks about obscure art, I think. And I think there's a section for Series 1000. I might be wrong. I think OG Series is actually split up into 3 quadrants, so I don't know. Not that it is important, it's just that's how the book goes. And yeah, you get sketches and stuff of what these looked like originally, and these can vary drastically, alright? Deadhouse is pretty similar. Besides this one thing here, which is pretty cool, Deadhouse remained mostly the same, but there are some art pieces that changed a lot from what they were originally going to be. Some, like Egg Monsters, actually, coincidentally enough. This one, though, didn't change a lot in its idea. It changed a lot in the perspective. You can see there's one a little lower. There's one that's kind of flipping from this, what we actually got. It's very strange how the art used to look. And I like seeing that. It's one of my main things I love about this book is how much you get to know about the early production of all this awesome art. Body Squeezers was going to be drastically different. It was going to have the creature, but they were going to be smaller, they were going to be bigger, they were going to be on a dresser, they were going to be way different areas and stuff. So yeah, you got to see a lot more behind-the-scenes stuff about this art, which I thought was really cool. It's one of my favorite things about this. And also, it's just fun to look at all this art. I mean, look at this. It's the coolest page in the book, man. God damn, it's so cool. I also think, besides the art, all of the writing in this book, because there's a bit of writing, is pretty good. There are cut-ins from R.L. Stine, as you can see here. And whilst I don't really believe that's really Stine's writing, I have my doubts. it's still cool to see that those little things thrown in. But you have blurbs, and you have just describing the art stuff at the top of the page when there's nothing really to mention. It's on every page, but that will be the main writing if there's nothing to add. And then there's sometimes Slappy saying stuff, or on some pages there's Curly. It also features some of the canceled art, like, I believe Triple Header Book 3. It didn't have a full page, but it was mentioned. And also, had a whole page, was Incredible Shrinking 5th Grader. Yeah, this book has a lot of fun facts, and it's really fun to read. And, yeah, it's just a great time. But for issues, I don't really have any. The only thing I don't like is the lack of an inclusion of any other series. I don't think this is truly what you'd call the Art of Goosebumps book. I think they should have made at least 2 or something, but of course I don't think that was going to happen thanks to that controversy that exists that I know nothing about. I just feel like should have included, if we're going to make another Art of Goosebumps book, or, you know, just make the Art of Goosebumps book, the actual Art of Goosebumps book, should have included Nagata's art, Craig White's art, and Brandon Dorman, and, you know, now Robert Ball. You know, it feels like it should have done that. It just feels strange excluding all of that art by those other artists when there are so many other art pieces in all of Goosebumps. There's 50 in just GYG alone. There was nothing about the Tales of Goosebumps art pages, which, whilst there aren't any official, besides 4 of the 6 books, releases of the art pictures, because those ones, Tales book, I believe, 4 or 5 didn't get the actual art released, and book 1 for Tales. We never had full pictures of that. You only have to go off the book cover, maybe like crop out all of that disgusting goo. Yeah, why not throw that in there? I don't see why that wasn't thrown in there. I'm sure there's something out there. And, yeah, there's other things you could have talked about in Goosebumps, or other little books. You could have thrown in maybe a page or 2 about autobiographies. It just feels like they're excluding a lot of stuff. And whilst it would have been a much bigger book than what this is like 130 pages, and whilst it is giant, I don't think it would have been too much bigger to at least include all the 90s stuff. At least. Maybe make a separate one for all the modern art. I don't know, it just feels strange to exclude all of that. But either way, still a great book. I give it like a 9 or even a 10 out of 10. It doesn't really do anything terrible, and those are rather just nitpicks. I think it is still a really cool book about Tim Jacobus' art, whilst not including every single one of them, like the Tales, and not really much about the triple headers, like barely even mentioned. It's still really cool for this book to even exist. I'm very grateful, and it is a very fun time, and it obviously did feature the most iconic art, because, you know, Nagata, as well as Craig White, they are 90s artists, but they're not as iconic as Jacobus at the end of the day. I think we can all admit that. We were way more used to Jacobus' art. I understand why they weren't included, and that's just nitpicks still. Yeah, great read. Not a great story, since there's no story, but it is a great, fun time. Not a lot to be said past that. Hope you guys enjoyed this little book review, and tell me what you think of the Art of Goosebumps below. And if anybody wants to let me know anything about the controversy, like if anybody's educated more, let me know in the comments below. I'll do a little bit of research at some point for when I get to making a video about that, maybe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.